Hey, what's up guys, another generic YouTube intro. Welcome back to another solo run video on the Retro Brown channel. Today we are doing a solo run with just Dugtrio, second stage evolution of the Dig line. And you know what, I'm really excited for this one because out of the ground types in Gen 1, this is my favourite, it is my absolute favourite. Dugtrio is the epitome of a glass cannon. It's got terrible HP, it's got terrible defense, it's got terrible special, but it's got great speed, got 120 base, and pretty good attack at 80. Our rival for today is going to be Sailor Emma. Thank you for subscribing and enjoying the channel with all the comments that you've been sending me. Absolutely love it. Thank you, keep doing that. Let's go on with the run. So let's talk about the moveset that we have. Now the reason why I'm excited about this run is because we actually start off with Dig. The 100 base power, 100% accurate 2-time move. Honestly, in this early game, this is a ridiculously good move to have. Which is fantastic as well, because ground type moves are really good in Gen 1, unless you come up against a flying type Pokemon. Which a few of the Elite Four do have, so we're going to have to work around that. But if you look at the moveset, we aren't going to learn anything else until level 15, but we do learn Earthquake at level 47, which is when we should be heading off to the Elite Four. But we also get a TM26A Earthquake over in Silph Core, meaning we can get it a lot earlier on than what we actually need. And for those pesky flying types, we also do get Rock Slide in Celadon. So we've got some great moves to work with. Not a lot of coverage, but to be fair, that ground, rock and normal type, I feel like it's going to be perfect for what we need. We absolutely decimate the rival on the first try. And we're going to move up to Viridian. And do you know what? This might be a run with a ground type, like with the Cubone run, where we actually just go straight for Brock. We've got a very good move with Dig. It is a 2-turn move, so we can get out of the way of Bide. But Bide could also really not work in our favour. We can get through the Geodude pretty quickly, but of course the Onix goes for Bide straight away, and yeah, whether it's a 2-turn or a 3-turn move, you can't anticipate that. I really should have went for Dig there, but it didn't work out in our favour. But this is possible. Let's try that again. So, if we get good luck on the Geodude where it just keeps spamming Defense Curl, we can dig our way through and we'll take a little bit of chip damage from Tackle. We're on half HP going into the Onix, and we get the right amount of luck with Dig. It takes 2 turns to take down the Onix, and at level 9, Dugtrio beats the first gym on his second try. Let's skip through to Cerulean City now, because there's not really too much noteworthy in Mount Moon. And I initially went into this thinking this might be an easy fight, considering we already have Dig. We don't have to go through Nugget Bridge to get through it, but the Water-type moves are just too powerful, especially with our 50 base special. So let's try against the rival, and then I realised there was another issue. He starts off with a Pidgeotto, and our move Scratch is just not up to scratch really. It doesn't do enough damage, we can't take down the Pidgeotto, meaning we can't get through to any of the rest of the team. So we go back and forth, we try against Misty, against the rival, and eventually we get this attempt here, where at level 20, we get the right RNG. We have the right amount of speed to outspeed, and we take down our entire team, only taking just over half health. So with that, we need to still take on the rival to get through to Bill's house. At level 20, our attack is getting really high, and because of our high base speed, we were getting a lot of critical hits. In Gen 1, if you aren't aware, your critical hit chance is based on your speed, so the higher your base speed, the more chances you are going to get a critical hit. And that really helped out in this fight, especially with having to use Scratch against the Pidgeotto. Now moving on to the SSN, we can pick up Body Slam, which is weird because I don't know how more like this will Body Slam if it doesn't come out the ground. But Body Slam is a great move, my favourite in Gen 1, and using it we just decimate the next portion of this run. We did accidentally teach over Dig with Sand Attack, but it's a good thing you can pick up the TM for Dig because, yeah, Dig is a great move, and it's still going to be a while before we even get to Earthquake. Beating the rival first time, we then move on to Surge, and he is not a problem whatsoever. His powerful attacks cannot hit us because we're a ground type, and Body Slam just sweeps through the entire team, taking a little bit of chip damage from the Voltorb, but it's a very quick win, and we are steaming through this run. Even the likes of the Exploding Hiker just can't match against us. Dig is a powerful move against his rock types, and even if they do decide to use Explosion, if we're underground, they are not going to hit us whatsoever. At level 29, we make it through Rock Tunnel, and we move ourselves onto Lavender Tower. We have the next fight against Sailor Emma. Now this fight, we definitely need Body Slam. It's going to be a 2-shot on the Pidgeotto, but we do take a lot of damage. That brings us into the Growlithe, which is weak to ground type moves, and then the Execute becomes the Pokemon I become the most scared of in this entire run later in this video. Kadabra goes down to 1 Body Slam because it's very weak defensively, and Wartortle follows suit not too long after. Wartortle, reason why we chose that as the rival's Pokemon, 1, it's cute, and 2, because Water and Ice moves are super effective against us, but if we went against the Venusaur, we actually have a type advantage with him being a Grass Poison type. Therefore, Blastoise was probably a more powerful Pokemon to go against, but we also could have gone against Charizard because it does have that flying type right at the end. It is 4 times weak to Rock Slide, which is why I also made the decision to go with Squirtle for the rival's Pokemon. That way we have no super effective moves against it, whereas against Charizard we have a 4 times effective move in Rock Slide. This brings us on to Celadon, where we're going to go against Giovanni first. It's going to be an easier fight going against him than it is Erica, even though we will outspeed a Pokemon and we do have a super effective move with Dig. But I always like to go against Giovanni as early as I can. Dig will just sweep through his entire team. Both Rhyhorn and Onix are weak to ground type moves, even though they are ground type themselves, but it's that rock typing that makes them weak to it. Dig takes out the Kangaskhan in 2 hits, and we beat Giovanni for the first time in this video. You know what? Instead of going against Erica right now, we're going to go and open up Saffron, because we want to go and get the Poké Flute, and then we can open up Silphco and get Earthquake. So, Lavender Tower is very, very easy for us, because all Ghost type Pokemon in this generation are Ghost Poison, with it only being the Ghastly line which is unique to Gen 1. There's only one Ghost line in Gen 1, if you weren't aware after nearly 30 years of Pokemon. Yeah, we sweep through extremely easy, and honestly this is easily the fastest ground type run that I have done so far, but there are a lot of trainers coming up which could change that. Lorelei being one of them, Sabrina being one of them. We need to hit hard, we need to hit fast, otherwise the trope of being a Glass Cannon is just not going to work for us here. So instead of going over to Koga or even over to Erica, we're going to go straight to Silphco and get Earthquake as quick as possible. Yes, we could be learning it in 12 levels, but at level 35, it's a better move than Dig, because it's a 1-turn 100 power move instead of a 2-turn 100 power move. Ergo, you can do more damage in more turns, and that makes it a better move. Only downside to it though, you can't you can't get out of the way of likes of Explosion. So for now, we are going to keep Dig on our moveset, because we do have Koga coming up. And it's a good thing there is no such thing as a Levitate ability in Gen 1, because otherwise Earthquake would be completely useless. Against the rival in Silphco, Rock Slide is going to get through the Pidgeot very, very comfortably. And do you know what's really weird? Seeing a fully evolved Pokemon at level 36 that only has 78 HP. That's how bad our HP stat is, it's crazy. In this fight, it's the first instance where we start to see Execute becoming a big problem. We get paralysed and we get Leech Seeded. And that's not good. We don't want to be paralysed, we don't have good defences, and I end up resetting the battle. After a few more tries, it became very prevalent that as soon as we get status effect like Paralysis, we're screwed. A Dugtrio is completely screwed. So we need to get through the Execute without taking any damage, without being Leech Seeded, without being paralysed. On this attempt it happens, and then Body Slam can take out the Alakazam on the next hit. Earthquake takes down the Blastoise, and thankfully it didn't use Water Gun, otherwise we would have taken a hell of a lot of damage there. But we beat the rival and we can move on to Giovanni once again, and this should be again another easy fight. He has Poison types on his team this time, meaning super effective moves will sweep through this entire fight. The only Pokemon not weak to ground type moves is the Kangaskhan, and we don't have any fighting type moves to make that super effective. But we take the win, and that means we've got a few options we can now take. We can go against Sabrina, we can go against Erica, we can go against Koga. Considering we're already in Saffron, it actually makes sense that we should really go up to Sabrina, clear out and finish Saffron off, and then move on to the other cities. So if you're ever wondering what's the quickest way to get Sabrina, just follow the route that I used there. And then you can fight her as quick as possible without just going against any of her gym trainers. One of the best things about being a glass cannon, if you've got high attack, higher speed, you can sweep through this gym incredibly easy. As long as you can take out all of the Pokemon, yeah, you need to make sure you one-hit them, otherwise you can have a big problem. Now, we got very lucky here with this attempt that the Alakazam went for Reflect of all things twice, giving us enough chances while paralysed to actually make sure we can take out Sabrina first time. After healing up, this is where we make our big choice. Are we going to go to Erica? Are we going to go to Koga? And I decided on Erica. We've got a lot of levels on our side right now, meaning we should sweep through this gym without even taking one single hit. But I've been surprised before by Erica, even at later levels. Let's give it a try and see how we do. Victory Bell is first, and Earthquake was a one-shot. Perfect start. Tangler is next, and it's not a one-shot with Earthquake, even with the stab damage on that. Takes 2 hits, but that brings us to the Vileplume, who, again, with being a grass poison type, goes down in 1 hit. We take a very easy win, and that probably would have been a lot harder if we'd done that a lot earlier on. The next gym leader, of course, is going to be Koga, and of course, he is not going to be a problem whatsoever. We get through the bike path after stealing a bike, and we take on the poison type gym leader. He is just going to be a complete whitewash. I went into this fight poisoned, and it just didn't matter for him whatsoever. We didn't even take one single point of poison damage, because as soon as we hit Earthquakes, that was it. The fight was over. That was probably one of the quickest Koga fights we've done in a long while. And that brings us over to Blaine. Once we picked up Surf, we can actually surf our way down to Cinnabar. And from there, we are bringing ourselves into the end point of this run. One thing that I was always I found quite weird, we can learn all of these really strong physical type moves, but a Dugtrio can't learn Strength. Out of all the moves, all the weird moves that it actually can learn, like how can it learn Scratch and Slash but it can't learn Strength? It's weird, isn't it? There's no visible claws on it, I don't know how it scratches. Who knows? Either way, let's make our way down to Cinnabar, and we'll see how we do against Blaine, which should be a very, very easy fight in all honesty. Ground type is super effective against fire, and he really doesn't have anything else that can take us on. You have to pick up the secret key in the Pokemon Mansion, otherwise you cannot access this gym, and because we've got so many items we need to toss something. We toss Psywave out because it is useless. And then we dug all the way back to Fuchsia City. It's a good thing Fly picks up that you have been to Cinnabar so you can fly all the way back, but it's kind of annoying that even though I went into the Pokemon Center, did not use the Pokemon Center, it doesn't register that I'd actually been at Cinnabar and I could dig out to there. It's a weird little mechanic, but either way. Blaine is an incredibly easy fight. It's very... I found it very close that his Arcanine could actually tank a super effective Stab Earthquake. But it was a couple levels above us. It's a little bit scary, but this is where we get into the penultimate part of this run. We're going to sweep through Giovanni's gym again, and we are just tearing up this run. Dugtrio is a fantastic Pokemon, and I would happily argue anyone that it is the best Gen 1 ground type, at least in a solo run context. When you come into the likes of VGC and competitive, I'm pretty sure Rhydon is classed as the best ground type Pokemon because of its defenses. But that's a story for another day. Let's get on with the second and final rival fight. Sailor Emma, you've been doing really well on this run so far. Let's see how you do here. At level 47, we are not one-shotting that Rhyhorn. That's where that high defense is coming into play that I mentioned. But the majority of the Pokemon are one-shots. And again, the Execute starts becoming an issue. We get hit by a Solar Beam after being made paralysed. And yeah, we need to retry this. Great attempt by the rival. And it just, after a few attempts, it just made it very clear we needed a few extra levels for a bit of speed, for a bit of power. And if you're not sure about damage rounding thresholds towards your level, pretty much you'll do more damage if your level is level 50, like, is a number of 1, 3, 5, and 8 for some reason. Not 100% sure why, but yeah, if you're at level 51, you will do more damage than if you're at level 52. You'll do the same damage if you're level 52 anyway. I think that's how it works. If someone knows the algorithm or has a better explanation of it, please whack it in the comments there. I'm not 100% on it, so I'm going off what I've learned from other videos. On this attempt, we get the right look. We miss Hydro Pump on that final Blastoise, and that opens up the route to the Elite Four. Now, starting in the Elite Four is Lorelei, and I'm scared for this one. Lorelei is a very powerful trainer, especially if you do not have the type advantage. And as you can see here, we don't even get past the first 2 Pokemon at level 52. So we try going up a few more levels, we go and train a little bit. But at level 52 it just isn't going to be possible, we just don't deal out enough damage. Ideally what we'd want to do, the best scenario would be getting that Dugong into a rest zone, where it needs to use rest, or the AI tells it should be using rest. So level 58, we tank an Aurora Beam, but even at level 58, it's just not working out with our luck. So let's try a little bit more. We'll use a few rare candies here. At level 61, we hit it into rest range, giving us the perfect opportunity to use Earthquake. Cloyster will go down to 2 Earthquakes. Oh no, it's going to be 3. We didn't get the high roll there, and that brings us into Slowbro. Now, we are this is the first attempt where we actually managed to get past the Cloyster, and from here, we just need to not get hit by Hydro Pump, which happens. I'm so glad the Hydro Pump does not have 100% accuracy, and we take our first win against Lorelei. And from here, the Elite Four goes very swimmingly. A lot of Bruno's Pokemon, just under half of them, are weak to ground-type moves. And most of them don't really have the best defenses. Meaning, Earthquakes can usually one-shot, we can get our criticals quite easy, we can outspeed, and this becomes as normal as Bruno, it's one of the easiest fights in the game. That brings us on to Agatha, and for once we have a type advantage here, and we outspeed a lot of her Pokemon. So we can sweep through the entire fight with Earthquake and Rock Slide, and I don't even think we take a single point of damage here. It's a one-shot on every single Pokemon, and you love to see it when you're against Agatha. Easiest Elite Four member this time round, but that brings us to Lance, and he starts off with his famous Gyarados that has Hydro Pump. So unless Rock Slide can really do some damage, which it doesn't, we're kind of screwed, but thankfully it misses, and we start sweeping again. Aerodactyl is the next threat that we need to worry about, and Rock Slide doesn't take it out in 1. And that leaves us on 49 HP to deal with this Dragonite. And it goes for the Hyper Beam, of course it does. So yeah, this took a while to get past. More times than not, Gyarados would hit Hydro Pump, and we wouldn't have much to work with. But as long as you can get past Hydro Pump with it missing, you've got a chance to win this with a Dugtrio. So, on this attempt, of course, we get the miss on Hydro Pump, we sweep through the next 2 Dragonairs, and next with Aerodactyl, it goes for Supersonic of all moves, meaning we're on full HP going into the Dragonite, and he starts just using Slam and Agility, giving us the opening to take the win. If he'd used Hyper Beam even once, we would have lost that, because our defenses are trash. And after Lance, we find out that Sailor Emma is the champion, and we need to take her on one final time to earn the crown of champion. Her Pidgeot goes straight for Sky Attack, giving us 2 openings to use Rock Slide. We outspeed the Alakazam, and an Earthquake takes it down. Earthquake does massive damage on the Rhydon, and he uses Leer, which actually adds to our Badge Boost glitch, because we have not been using any Badge Boost glitch moves. If they use it on us, we cannot influence that whatsoever. If they use a move like that, we have no say in it. The Executor manages to get us down to 9 HP and then use Stomp to take us down. That's very annoying. Again, the Executor was the wall. Let's try this again. Let's see how we do. Most times than not, the Pidgeot will go for Sky Attack, and I don't know why that is when we're a ground type, but either way, just seems to be what the AI does in this scenario. The Alakazam for once is not a problem when you outspeed it, and this time we take down the Rhydon in 1 hit. So we have got no Badge Boost glitch working in our favour this time. We get a critical against the Executor, and Barrage is just doing a decent chunk of damage. Next up is the Blastoise, and Earthquake does big damage, but they go for Withdraw, giving us the opening to get a critical hit Earthquake, and for Dugtrio to become the Cantonian champion. That was a fun run, but I'm not happy with how high the level was for me to finish on there, and it came down purely just to Lorelei. We finished at 3 hours 17 minutes, confirming that Dugtrio is so far our best ground type Pokemon for these solo run challenges. If you got to this point in the video, guys, you know what's going to happen next. We're going to spin that wheel, choose 3 times, and then choose one of those choices for our next week's video. First up is Horsey, and I've been really putting off doing a Horsey run because I really did not enjoy the Seadra run right at the start of this channel. Second up is Executor, and considering the trouble he's just given us, it might be a good chance to use the Executor. But we haven't used anything from that line yet. I think I'd rather use the Execute first. Last up is Dugong. Ooh. You know what, yeah, I'm going to go with Dugong. I've not used anything from that line, and I've never used it before, if I'm being honest. Let's give it a go. If you got to this point in the video, guys, please smash that like and subscribe button, you legends. And we will see you next week for the Dugong Solo Run. Take care, appreciate you.